Basically, what I'm going to go through today is kind of just, I'll give you some of the things about my business, some of the cool things that we do, some of the ways that I've found success, and hopefully you can take some of those things back to some of your operators. Maybe you'll find something that I've said that you go, hey, that's really cool. I know someone that's right in my area that would benefit from that. That would be really awesome if you can, so feel free to take any of the ideas that I'm sharing with you and use them. Then the last part of the presentation, I'll talk to you about what I need from you or how you can help me. And hopefully we can have some conversation about that throughout the day. So, everyone knows where Ireland is, but you got to figure out where I'm from, and it's Saskatchewan. So that first star on the bottom, that's where Cypress Hills is. That's my first location. I'll talk a little bit later, but I'm actually building a second location. I've expanded to a new site, which is 6.5 hours north and a little bit east, to another big, probably the two major tourism areas in the province. So I'm very fortunate with that. And so basically what I do is I opened up an outdoor adventure company. It's like experiential tourism. So the main things that we have at our site is a zipline canopy tour. So how many people have ziplined before? See, in Canada, that wouldn't be the case. It's like, it's a pretty American thing. This whole ziplining thing is like blowing up down here. And it's working pretty good up north. Everyone thinks that it is that, and you're just so majestically flying through. In reality, it's that. That's really what you look like most of the time. But you know what? At my site, we've been really fortunate. I opened it in 2010. It was really the first type of business like this in Saskatchewan. So I was able to, I had to really build up confidence and trust quickly. And what's ended up happening is that we've had this wide range of people through my site. Like the oldest person we've had on the tour is 85 years old, and the youngest person that we've had is around 6 years old. And everyone in between. So many different groups come and do it. Girlfriends out for a weekend, couples, families. So it's been really, really fortunate. Now I got a little bit bored. The canopy tour wasn't enough for me, so I built this thing called the Treetop Adventure Park. And it's a high ropes course, so that's another thing that we do. I also installed this 45-foot parachute simulator. It's a free fall device. So that thing has been working out really cool at my little base camp. We have a climbing wall there where we kind of hook the kids in. They climb all day. And we have mini zips for kids. So we do that as well for the little ones. And they really, they eat that up. So it's really cool. And we also have a slackline park. And I don't know if anyone's ever tried that, but it's quite frustrating, actually. Now, this whole business, I just found it so cool that when I was able to come up with an idea of what I wanted to do, you have a very unique opportunity to start it in the right way. And to kind of create the company from scratch gives you that chance to build exactly how you want it to be and to try and manage perceptions of people. So at my location, basically it's founded on 3 principles. It's about having fun, it's about pushing your boundaries, and it's about finding your happy dance. And the whole happy dance thing is really, it's really taken a life of its own, really. It's kind of like, my vision of it was that I wanted people, when they came to my site or when they interacted with my company, to get that feeling like when you see a little kid and he gets an ice cream cone and he's just like, oh yeah, this is so awesome. That's what I want people to feel like. That's how I communicate it to my staff. That's what we're trying to achieve every single time, every interaction, everything that we do. And so there's a few things that I want to kind of show you, the things that I do. And one of the categories is the small things. And I take a lot of time to make sure that the small things are covered.
Is it the guy that looks like Anderson Cooper but with the soul patch and the ponytail?
No.
Is it Black Michael Chiklis?
No.
And White George Foreman?
You guys are talking about the same person. He's biracial, his name is David, and he's a human being. Guys, stop guessing. It's not a thing at all. It's just a friend. Change the subject.
Let's get back to who Annie's in love with. Is it Fat Neil?
Blue Streak?
Optimus Prime?
Okay, even I know some of these are Transformers.
Who cares who it is? Let's just study.
Study what? We haven't had a first class yet.
Well, can we talk about something other than Annie's love life?
We could talk about my love life.
Is it Jean-Claude Van Overbite?
We should really start learning people's names.
I agree with Brown Jamie Lee Curtis.
So that little video, that's the first thing that I put in place, is the small things is remember names, learn names. I have a rule with everyone that we start right from the beginning, and my guides for the zipline tour, they have to know everybody's name by the time they get onto that harness deck. And so they build a relationship with them prior to even getting on there because they need to try and figure out what their name is and need to learn it. We call people by name, and in my industry, in my business, where it's sometimes perceived as high risk, that's crucial. We need to build that trust. But it transcends to every business. If you can call people by their name, it makes them trust you, makes them feel like you're part of it. So names are sacred. That's one point. The next thing that I've done is just consistency in every single thing that we do. So in terms of our online presence, every single thing has to look the same. And it's like a very basic concept, but there's a lot of operators in my area that don't do this. They just have no idea. And it's so critical that when people go onto my website and then they get over to my Facebook page, that they know they're still with me. And so we spend a lot of time doing that. It even transcends into our site. All the signage that we have at our location has the play buttons, and it makes you feel like you're still at Eco-Adventures. Even all of our gear and things that we sell, right down to the smart car. It's like every single thing is vomiting Eco-Adventures on you, basically, what we're trying to do. And the other piece is what I've tried to do, and what all of us at my location try to do, is just be us. It's like we've figured out who we are, and we just do everything we can to just be who we are, and talk in our own language, talk in our own voice, make sure that we're not trying to imitate or copy someone else. One of our things is trying to just sit down, calculate what we want to do, and try it, and go for it, and test things out. But at the end of the day, it's just being us. And sometimes for DMOs and CVBs, that's tough. Like, that's a tough thing. But in an ideal world, it would be like, pick the thing that you are and be that wholeheartedly. And that's what, as a small business, that's what I'm able to do, which is really cool. And that's it. We, you know, it's all about the zip lining. It's all about having fun, pushing your boundaries, and finding your happy dance. And that's what we roll through. Now, the next thing that I think is really cool about the business is things that I call game changers. Now, at Cypress Hills location, like, game changers can be little things too. They don't have to be huge. Like, one of them is we built a rack for the backpacks. For all the guides, when they came in the morning, they were throwing their bags down. We put a rack up, called it the Backpack Rack Jack, and that's a game changer, that thing. But here's another couple that we do.
What is technology? What can it do?
When I lost my eyesight, I thought that my painting days were over.
How far can we go?
By using your hands, you can actually control your X-ray.
Technology has the power to unite us.
Hang on, honey. Hang on.
There he is. You see him?
I can see him. It inspires us. Technology has taken us places we've only dreamed.
Now I can do whatever I want.
It gives hope to the hopeless.
Can you hear me talking?
And it has given voice to the voiceless.
How cool is that video? I love that thing. That's one of the things, is technology. That's one of the big game changers that I've used. And I also normally do presentations on Prezi, but I got the chance to do a PowerPoint one. I was looking through the clip art stuff. It's like, it's ridiculous. I'll never get to use a duck again in a presentation, but I'm doing it. So this program that I use is a tour operator software. So what I did as a business is try and figure out the ways that is going to make it very easy for my customers to deal with me, and to book with me, and to make reservations, and to connect with me, and then actively sought out which types of technologies that I could use and incorporate into my business to make it easier for my customers. And in turn, it usually makes it a lot easier for me. This group is one of those things. If you have tour operators that kind of run tours similar to mine in your area, this Resgo is an amazing thing. It's an awesome tour operator software, but there's millions of them out there, and you can go and check them out. But that's been a huge help for me. I'll show you some of the numbers about it later, but Like these bookings, I think last year, the bookings, this system booked a little bit more than actually all of my staff doing bookings combined. So it helped. The second thing that I used is this photo system called PhotoFlow. So we actually take photos of you while you're on the tour. When you're done, we sell them to you, we send them out to you, and the whole platform of this PhotoFlow was a real great fit for my company because they're all about sharing and growing content. So this thing has been crazy good for getting the word out. A lot of word of mouth visits have came specifically from this that we've actually tracked, which is really, really cool. And I'll talk about it more. I'll show you some numbers in a bit. But here's some of the big things that we do at our site and that I keep communicating to the staff.
Das hier ist mein Sektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät und das Gerät. Überlebensradar.
Mayday, Mayday. Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you... Over. We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
So why I wanted to put that in there is because it's all about communicating and speaking the same language. I have to make sure that all of my crew and my team is on the same page when we're dealing with our customers. And we also have to talk in a way that lets us be eco-adventures, but also in a way that our customers will understand us. So if you go through like my website and have a look at some of that stuff, it's almost like I'm talking to you. I'm the one that writes all the content. I basically do all of the design side of things. So you'll kind of hear me talking, and that's what we're trying to do. Is just the communication always has to be there. We spend a ton of time training our staff as well, and that it takes a lot of money to put into them to do that. But we train them emotionally, we train them technically, we make them, we get them to buy into what we're doing, and then we just let them go with it. Now, this is the other cool thing when you start a company, you have the ability to kind of create an atmosphere that you want. And has anyone heard of the fish philosophy? 1, 2? Okay. Well, basically, it's just a business philosophy, and it was created by this fish market in Seattle that was like an awful place to work, but they made it really fun. And they based on just 4 principles. It was play, so have fun at work, be there, so make sure that you're actively in every scenario or every situation that you're in and care about people. Make their day, do whatever you can to make their day, and also choose your attitude. You maybe don't have to come to work smiling every single day, but if you're kind of in a frown, like turn it up just a touch. That's all we want. Now we go through, during our technical training, we probably spend as much time technically training our staff as we do on the philosophy of our business. And that leads to super empowered employees, because once we know that they understand what we're about, we can let them roll. And they will make decisions. I have yet to see them make a bad decision on the company's side of things when we've spent all that time letting them know what we're about and what we care about. And they love us. Like I've operated Cypress Hills for 4 years. It takes 22 employees at a location to run. And I've only had 35 employees total over this whole 4 years, and it's very seasonal. So they love us. They come back. They love each other. It's a tough place to. You've really got to form a team to make that work in our industry. The other thing is that another big thing is that we live what our name is. Like our name is Cypress Hills Eco-Adventures or Elk Ridge Eco-Adventures. We have to be eco-friendly. We have to. So a lot of these things came from staff initiatives. They said, like I posed the question to them and said, hey, we're trying to make sure that we are doing the right thing by the environment. What kind of things can we do? That Bullfrog Power is one thing that we've done. We've partnered with them. They basically put all the money or all the energy back onto the grid in the form of green electricity. So our site is actually net zero. We're carbon neutral. We don't use any energy to run with the help of Bullfrog Power. Then we also donate 1% of our gross revenues to an environmental not-for-profit that's based in Saskatchewan. And these are all staff initiatives that they came up with and said that's really cool. We talk about those staff initiatives, or we talk about those initiatives at our site. We have little signs that show some of the cool things that we're doing, and we're not trying to push it in your face, but we're just saying, hey, if you care to look, here's the stuff. And we also have cool policies in place that were staff-driven, like we bike to work. So all of the employees that live within the area walk or bike to work every single day in the summer. So it's kind of cool. And this is the last big thing.
Smart.
So that whole thing, that is the other big thing that we do, is we spend, and I spend countless hours trying to understand what the perception of my business is, and then trying to alter that, so that when people interact with us, they're going to get the feeling that I want them to get by talking with them. And it's all about just being engaged with them, being conversational, making sure that we are a social company. When we're being social, we'll figure out the things that they're telling to us. Then we're going to make those adjustments, Eco-Adventure style, so that we can manage those perceptions and expectations. It's like this: if on all of our advertising we had squirrels and moose, and said you're going to zip line over a moose, come zip line over a moose, and they get there and they don't zip line over a moose, that's bad. Like, that's really, really bad. Another example was I was at a coffee shop in, well, I don't want to say Tim Hortons because that's like so stereotypical, but it was Tim Hortons. And I was sitting there, and it was a brand new Tim Hortons, but it worked like this. The first door that you went through was an automatic, like an open door, right? It automatically opens. Well, the next door you had to pull, and 10 out of 10 people walked through the first electric door and smashed into the second one. And I just thought about that. It's like one of those things is we're creating this expectation, like the door is going to slide, and then the next door, it should slide, but it doesn't. So we have to be very careful about the things that we're doing at our location, so that we're trying to make sure that the perceptions and expectations that we're managing are coming to reality. Like, we want the reality to be what we're trying to get them at, if that makes sense. I know it's kind of mumbled, but that's probably one of the biggest things is just to reiterate, managing perceptions and making sure that those perceptions are reality for the customers. And then when that happens, we usually get some pretty happy people, and the happy dance is well underway. Here's a snapshot of some of the stuff from last year. So I operate from basically May until September. That's about it. I had about 20,000 people come through the site last year, which is pretty good. 51% of those bookings were done by Resgo, which is pretty awesome. PhotoFlow, the photo company, we had a survey last year. We had 98% satisfaction rate on the photos. So people were getting what we were promising them, and they were understanding that. Last year we sent out 62,000 photos, and those were shared around by. It's hard. It would be almost impossible for me to track it based on being a small business, but it was. I mean, the word of mouth things changed. Like, our our visitation last year, 40% of people came word of mouth, and 30% are my return visitors from years before. Like 70% of my business is 1 degree of separation from someone that's been at Eco-Adventures or has tried it already, which is really cool. Back to those photo things, another thing that we use for those photos is to commission our guides. That's one way I can get their dollars per hour up, is that I give them a commission for every photo that's sold. And I split 50% of my photo revenues with my guides. So I look at that as a marketing tool, not as a revenue generator. And what has happened is we get really good photos, and the guides try and make those photos a really cool part of the tour, so that when they get back, there's cool photos taken, and the people they can't not leave without getting them. Now, I said about the staff before, that was really, retention has been really good because of all of this stuff. And the other thing is that social adventurers, one of the things that I've done at the location is to offer free Wi-Fi, which is it's another simple thing, but we do free Wi-Fi at our site, and that has changed a lot. In the park that I operate in, there's people that may be not even spending time at our site for the day or doing anything with us, but they'll drive over just to pit in the cool atmosphere with music going and people climbing and jumping and screaming, just so that they can hook on to the net and play around. So it's just, you see an opportunity to bring more people there, regardless of what they're doing, and you jump on it. So I think, you know, these things have worked for me. It's been really good, and I only have a limited amount of time to tell you all this stuff, but if you want to ask me about any little cool thing that I'm trying to do, or specific initiatives of ways that I've solved problems for myself, is just come and talk to me when we're done here. But it has worked for me. Like, I've won 10 industry awards in the last 4 months or something, or 4 years, basically. And fingers crossed for the one up top. That's like the small, medium-sized business of the year for tourism, or the Canadian tourism industry. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, building another location up at Elk Ridge Resort. So that's going to be pretty epic as well. Now, how can you help me? That's the last little bit. And this is tough sometimes to figure out, but this video is kind of how I view you guys.
This man right here is my great-grandfather. He's the first cat herder in our family.
Herding cats. Don't let anybody tell you it's easy.
Anybody can herd cattle. Holding together 10,000 half-wild short hairs, well, that's another thing altogether.
Being a cat herder is probably about the toughest thing I think I've ever done.
I got this one this morning, right here, and if you look at his face, it's just ripped to shreds, you know?
You see the movies, you hear the stories, I'm living a dream. Not everyone can do what we do.
I wouldn't do nothing else.
It ain't an easy job, but when you bring a herd into town and you ain't lost a one of them, ain't a feeling like it in the world.
EDS, managing the complexities of the digital economy.
You guys are cat herders. It is, yeah, give yourselves a round of applause. We're cats. Like, us operators are just, we don't even know what we want sometimes. You're chasing us around. It seems we don't want to have anything to do with you some days, and we want everything from you other days. I understand where you guys are at. I get it. I'm one of the operators that wants to help you guys make me better. That's what I'm one of those people. If you can find those people in your regions, work with them. Like, they will help you out for sure, and they'll give you what you want. Now, the whole help me get better, you know, it's one of those things, like, I would always get from the DMOs, like, well, let us know if you need anything. Let us know if you need anything. I don't even know what I need. So that's a hard question. Like, that's a tough one to say to the operators is, you know, well, thanks for the chat. Let me know if you need anything. We're good. I won't even know what I need to get from you. Help me get better. Here's one thing that I think would help an operation like me. I love to do things on my own. That's why I started my own business. I love having control of every aspect of my company. one thing that would really help me is to create toolkits, sort of, is kind of like technology toolkits. So if you could do a group of, if the DMO in my area would be able to create like a reservation system, a bunch of them, show a bunch of different options, show a bunch of different social media management tools, show a bunch of staff training manuals, staff things like that, that I could go to and just pull myself and test them out, try them, that would be a really huge thing for me. There's millions of examples like that of ways to help me get better, and we can talk more of those later. The other thing is show me some love. Like, we sometimes don't show you guys a lot of love, and I apologize for that. Sometimes us operators are pretty me, and I do get that. But I think you know, sometimes you guys might have to just bite the bullet and say, you know what, we're very thankful that you're in our area and that you're operating, and we understand you're working hard, and we know that you don't have much time. You're always busy, busy, busy. If just a little bit of that would really, it really makes operators loyal. It really makes us trust what you're doing, and the processes that you're going through to try and drive visitation to our regions that we're operating in. So just showing some love is like it's a big help. But the most important thing is that you have to get to know the business, and at every level. You have to get to know me personally. I think you have to get to know your operators personally, but you have to really, really understand what's going on at their business. You have to experience it. You have to spend time talking with them about it over and over and over. And I know that there may be a million operators in your area, and so what you might have to do is choose some key ones and start there. That would be the ideal world, is pick your champions and let them take you where you want to go. But getting to know the business and getting to know every single thing about it is the key thing. You have to spend the time doing that. And I mean, for me, that's where it'll build loyalty from me to you over and over and over and over. And if you do that, I think we will find our happy dance. I want to thank you guys so much for letting me chat, and enjoy the rest of your conference.